Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. My name is Siti ZAHIRAH binti Muhammad Sallehuddin. I will be talking about Shariah law, which is a fundamental part of the Islamic legal system, especially in Malaysia. Let's begin with a basic overview. Shariah law is a legal and ethical system based on the Quran and the teachings of Prophet Muhammad SAW. It covers all aspects of human life, such as business dealing, marriage, inheritance, and more. However, in Malaysia, it only applies to Muslims and focuses mainly on personal matters like divorce, custody, and inheritance. These are handled by Shariah courts, which are separate from the civil courts. The courts operate at three levels: lower court, high court, and the Shariah appellate court. Each state enforces its own Shariah law according to Islamic principles. Over time, Shariah law has evolved to include areas like Islamic banking, halal certification, and even Islamic finance marketing. It's more than just law, it shapes how Muslims live their lives, make decisions, and interact in society. Shariah is built not only on the Quran and Sunnah, but also on ijma, or consensus, and qiyas, or reasoning by analogy. It plays a major role in maintaining the identity, values, and moral principles of Muslims in Malaysia. Even today, it remains one of the two key legal systems running side by side in the country. I think that's all from me. I will pass to the next presenter.
To Dr. HAKIMAH and my other friends and my crew members. Okay, today I want to talk about our mini scale assignment that we are chosen for presentation and from group 1. Okay, I am the representative of who want to present the first case study. Okay, let's see what are the case study question and what are they required to be answered. Okay, case study number 1, validity of a Sharia contract. Okay, what is the case? Okay, Ahmed and Bilal entered into a contract to purchase 500 kg of dates. However, Ahmed later claimed the contract was void because no normal section was held and no written terms were agreed. Assignment question is: assess whether a valid act was formed according to Sharia principle. Discuss the requirement for a valid contract under Islamic law and whether the case meets those criteria. Okay, let's see. Okay, for the introduction, the main legal issue in this case is that a contract between Ahmed and Bilal entered into a contract to purchase 500 kg of dates. Is it valid under the Sharia principle, under the Islamic law, even though they didn't have any formal section and no written terms were agreed? The matter is now required under the Islamic contract law to valid contract if they have related to ijab and qabul, which is known as offer and acceptance, as competence party and law subject matter, and absence of uncertainty were present at here. Okay, let's see. This is the second slide from my part, which is understanding of Sharia contract legal principle. Okay, the first of all, what are the criteria or what are the elements in Sharia contract in a legal principle? Okay, first of all, offer and acceptance, which is show that ijab and qabul essential for forming a valid contract. The ijab is offered by one party who makes the offer, but the qabul accepted by the other who accept that offers. This thing is supported by Quran 5:1, which is fulfill all the contracts and believers must keep their promises. And hadith also have been proven that Abu Dawud 3594, Muslims are bounded by their condition and must follow their agreed condition. Okay, the secondly, I want to talk about the contracting parties, which are hal, hakid, must have a legal capacity, which is 3 parts, which is Akil, Balik, Ikhtiar. Akil is be a sound mind person. Balik is maturity or mature of adult. Ikhtiar is the free will shows join the contract for free choice. And these all the things are invalid if any party lacks capacity shows what or that wabah suhaili. Okay. The third thing that under the Sharia contract legal principle is subject matter. What are the subject matter? Must be meet Sharia requirements like halal, clear, specified, can be delivered and have more value in Islam. For example, in this case, 500 kg of dates is a valid subject matter and accepted as a valid contract. Why? It shows that the dates are halal and clear specified. Under the hadith, Shia Muslim, buyers must take their ownership before resale or do not sell the food before they are receiving it. For the garar, under uncertainty is prohibited, that includes unclear in the objects, terms, or performance. Another one is hadith under Shia Muslim is declared illegal sales with gahar. Okay, the fourth one is section of contract, which shows that majlis hal act. Okay, time frame between offer and acceptance must be continuous or same section on this section of contract, and modern methods such as call chats are valid for this contract act, but hard interpreted or it's a clear section. Must be a clear section that have proved by ASOIFI is Sharia standard number 2. And the fifth one is form and documentation. And what is the form and documentation that are legally become a principle of Sharia contract? Okay, not a must recommended or declared payments or debts purpose. That is the things that they want, form and documentation. And another one is this supported by Quran 2/282, which is write down the debts contract such as delayed payment. And we know that the documentation are encouraged for clarity to help the confusion and for the validity, not for validity. Is it valid or not? It's not. Taken by the form and documentation. Okay, let's look for supporting evidence. What are the things that supporting from the understanding of Sharia principle before this? Okay, the first of all, Quran. The first two things that supported in Sharia contract is only Quran and Hadith play a major role at here. As shown that Quran 5/1, which is affirms the binding nature of contract, ijab and qabul, which is offer and acceptance. Quran 2/282, which is recommend writing documentation but not mandatory for validity. That we are before this we are looking at the form and documentation. And for the Hadith, Abu Dawud 3594, which is Muslim are bonded via the conditions, enforced mutual agreements. This shows that clear and specified by the Sharia law. The Hadith Shahih Muslim also provides transaction involve uncertainty, ensure clarity in subject matters. And another one is AAOI FI, Sharia standard number 2, which shows that validates of modern tools, calls and chats if offer and acceptance are confirmed. But a clear and specified version. Right? Another one is Fiqh Hal Islami wa Haditul Tu, Wabas Waili, which shows that contracts are valid if parties lack of sound mind, maturity, or free will, which shows that Akil Bale Ityad. Before this, we are looking at the understanding of Sharia, right? These are the things that supporting for the understanding of the Sharia law. Okay, this is after this, Lee Earn, my second colleagues or my presentation will be continued by Lee Earn. Okay, I pass this presentation to my second presenter.
Hello, Doctor. My name is Laila Ng. Here is the critical analysis and evaluation part. In case 1, Amir and Bilal was meet the standard of entering into a contract under Islamic law. It is because they fulfill the 5 elements to enter a contract. In the first element, which is offer and acceptance, there was a mutual agreement between 2 parties, so it shows that they have fulfilled ijab and qabul requirements. For the contracting, both of them also fulfill this element, which they are suitable, stand, and acting voluntarily. Since there was no any information manifest each of the parties was incapable, so that we assume that they are also fulfilled this second requirement. Next, in this case, the subject matter is 500 kg of dates which are halal, non and having legal value, which means that it does not having uncertainty and fulfill the third requirement. Denying a contract on the basis of formality may indicate gara or deception, which is prohibited in Islamic commercial dealings and might cause the contract invalidated in some conditions. For the fourth element, Majlis Aqwa, it is assumed that their conduct through digital platforms, since in this case I mentioned that lack of written documentation. For the last element, it is not necessary to have written documentation while entering the contract under Sharia principle. It can be verbally or in written form. This was supported by Quran 282, which was a recommendation only especially for that. In conclusion, under Islamic law, it was still valid of the contract between Amir and Bilal due to that is not compulsory for having a written documentation while entering the contract. So Amir was failed to claim that the contract was void. It is due to any attempt to avoid it without valid Sharia jurisdiction may amount to dishonesty and breach of Islamic ethical standard. In Malaysia, contract under Islamic law always emphasize moral integrity, fulfillment of promise, and transparency. It should be always obeyed, no matter in informal or formal agreements. Thank you.
Okay, so hi everyone. So my name is Miratika binti Ahmad, and I will be presenting about the case study 8, which is unintentional revocation of akad. Our case is Fatima agreed to this shop to Ali for 2 years under a Sharia compliant Ijara contract. After 3 months, she decided to cancel the agreement due to the family pressure. Our assignment question is evaluate the legality of unilateral revoking of an akad under Sharia law, permissible around for determination and the right of both parties. Okay, so now let's move to the introduction part. The main legal issue in this case is whether Fatima, unilateral terminate of a 2-year Ijara hadith with Ali after a 3-month is valid under Sharia law. According to the Islamic contract law, an Ijara contract is binding, or we can also call as akad lazim, and can only be undone for a legitimate Sharia reason such as loss of usufruct, breach of contract, or significant harm, and we can also call this as darar. Let's continue to the next part, which is understanding of the Sharia contract legal principle. The first one, we have the completion of the both party desire. Termination can only be happen when the desire of the both party have been completed. The contract is fulfilled according to the what both party agreed. Secondly, is significant change in circumstance. Termination is valid if there is a significant change affecting the contract. The leased asset is no longer usable due to the external factor like legislations. The third one will have the preservation of infraction on the contract. Termination may occur to prevent or preserve against breach or violation of contract terms. This maintains the sanctity and fairness of the contract under Sharia. The fourth one, we have the financial loss or damage. If continuation causes a financial loss or damage to a party, termination may be allowed. The asset economic usefulness is lost, making payment unjust. Last but not least, we have the extinction of usufruct. Asset no longer usable. The Ijarah contract's subject matter is usufruct, right to use of the asset. Definition of it is, if the asset can no longer serve its intended purpose, the contract may be void or terminated. We also have the 5 supporting evidence, which is the first one is Islamic law. Ijarah contract follow the Quran, Sunnah, and Islamic law, emphasizing fairness and Shariah rules. The second one, we have the side guideline. The lesser on the property and the must ensure it usable. Contract must also avoid a riba, which is interest. A third one, we have the binding contract. Ijarah is binding and can't be undone by one party only without a valid Shariah reasons. A fourth one, we have a valid termination reasons. Contract can only be ended by a mutual agreement, breach, loss of use, or destruction of assets. Hadith supports. Contract must be kept unless they abridge Shariah or cause real harm, or we can call it as darar.
For the next part is critical analysis and evaluation. For case 8, the first element is completion of both party desires is not fulfilled because no mutual agreement between Fatimah and Ali. And the next is a significant change in circumstance is also not fulfilled because assets still applicable due to family pressure. And the next one is preservation of infraction on the contract is not fulfilled because no breach of contract between Ali and also Fatimah. The second last is financial loss or damage. This also not fulfilled because asset usefulness is not affected on this case. And the last one is extinction of usufruct is not fulfilled because not a legal condition under Shariah principle is applied. Because the usufruct is also still have the economic value. Okay, for the last part, for case 8 is conclusion. In conclusion, Fatimah unilaterally revoking to terminate the Ijarah contract with Ali due to family pressure is not valid under Shariah law. This contract is binding, or we call as court lazim, is legally binding and cannot be revoked without mutual consent or valid Shariah compliant grounds such as loss of usufruct, contract breach or harm.